welcome to the latest edition of news at NWU, your window to what's making headlines at our Northwest University. Across South Africa, frustration with local government is no longer abstract. It is lived daily as communities grapple with service failures and a growing loss of trust in the systems meant to serve them. Against this backdrop, the Faculty of Humanities hosted a critical engagement on the 13th of April 2026, bringing together policymakers, academics and students to reflect on the future of local governance. The discussion formed part of national consultations on the review of the White Paper on Local Government, widely seen as an opportunity to reset the system and rebuild public confidence. The university has taken a major step forward with the appointment of Prof. Binu Luke as the inaugural Chief Director of the Desmond Tutu School of Medicine, effective from the 1st of April 2026. The new medical school, set to welcome its first students in 2028, will play a key role in strengthening South Africa's healthcare workforce and national health system. Prof. Luke takes the helm at a pivotal moment, bringing a values-driven vision inspired by Archbishop Desmond Tutu, with a focus on producing compassionate, fit-for-purpose doctors equipped to serve diverse communities. Chartered accountancy students from the NWU have delivered an outstanding performance in the January 2026 initial assessment of competence, achieving a 97% pass rate compared to the national average of 65%. The results, released by the South African Institute of Chartered Accountants, also known as SAICA, and the Namibian Institute of Chartered Accountants, or ICANN, also saw 100% of NWU's ICANN candidates pass. In addition, 95% of NWU's African Coloured and Indian ACI SAICA candidates were successful. In total, 122 NWU candidates passed the SAICA and ICANN exams. What an amazing achievement! The NW Eagles fell short 31-3 in the Varsity Cup final, but their remarkable 2026 campaign has filled the entire university with pride. In defeat, the team showed heart, unity and resilience, proving that they are not just contenders, but a force that carries the hope of the NWU with distinction. Thank you for joining us for this edition of news at NWU. Join us again next time as we continue to reflect on the impact and ambition of our Northwest University. It all starts here.
Koni bupirima reka ele morena kawena reka ema ratswarana morena ore khoge lesedin re khoroge waar die wilgers welig spruit door 'n boom sy skadu sprei soos ons groei in kundigheid mag U ons lei sien ons hoe hier lei met die hand laat wie sien rus oor ons land. Three strong streams united flow, Africa stands proud and tall. As we learn, we trust, we know God is in control. Bless us, O Lord, guide us with grace. May Northwest be blessed always. Bless us, O Lord, sien ons hier. Ore Jehovah Tsebolena, sien ons, bless us, O Lord.
By the power vested in me, I hereby constitute this meeting as a lawful congregation of the Northwest University. Ka ntlha ya taolo e ke neetsweng ke tlhomamiso kopano e jaaka kopano e mo molaong ya University ya Bokone Bophirima.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, our dignitaries gathered here this morning, our important guests gathered here this morning. Allow me not to fiddle with protocol until it is so established by the one duly designated to do that this morning. As I lead this morning's devotion, I will take for a text from the first book of Samuel, the 7th chapter, verses 10, 11, and 12. Ke tla tsaya palo ya lefoko la moso wa letsatsi la gompieno re santse re tla be re tla mo pakeng ya go bulela tiro e ka thapelo re tla tsaya lekwalo la ntlha la ga moprofeta Samuele kgaolo ke ya bosupa temana ya lesome le bongwe le lesome le bobedi. Now, as Samuel was offering up the burnt offering, the Philistines drew near to battle against Israel. But the Lord thundered with a loud thunder upon the Philistines that day, and he so confused them that they were overcome before Israel. And the men of Israel went out of Mizpah and pursued the Philistines and drove them back as far as below Beth-car. Then Samuel took a stone and set it up between Mizpah and Shen, and called its name Ebenezer, saying, "Thus far the Lord has helped us." Jaanong ya re Samuele a santse a fisa setlhabelo, Bafilistia ba atamela go tlhabana le Baiseraele, mme morena a dumisa maru ka tumo e kgolo godimo ga Bafilistia ka lone letsatsi leo, a ba raranya, mme ba fengwa ke Baiseraele. Mme banna ba Israele ba bolola kwa Mitshepa, ba khutshela Bafilistia ba ba bolaya go ya go fitlha kwa tlase ga Bethekara. Ke fa Samuele a tsaya lefika a le thoma fa gare ga Mitshepa le Shene, a le taya leina a re Ebenesere, a re morena o re thusitse go fitlha gompieno. Samuel was nog bezig te offer, toe kom die Filistijnen nader om teen Israël te veg. Op daardie dag het die Here 'n groot donderweer oor die Filistijnen laat losbars. Die Here het hulle verwaar en hulle is deur die Israeliete verslaan. Die Israeliete het van Mispa af die Filistijnen af te volg en hulle verdryf tot onderkant van Betkat. Samuel het toe 'n klip gevat en dit regop gesit tussen Mispa en Shen. Hy het die plek Ebenhaiser genoem, want hy het gesê, tot nou toe het die Here ons gehelp. Quite often in times, every moment of our lives, we get to that point where we realize that there must have been a supernatural intervention in our lives. There comes a moment when we realize gore ha go no go latela ke mo khatlhanong le tlhaselo eo eneng ke me khatlhanong ke ka be ke feletse mo ntweng eo, ke ka be ke feletse mo sekakeng seo, ke ka be ke feletse mo gare ga dikgwetlho tseo. Verse 12 sums up that experience that the people of God had. Like we are here today, not only for those who are celebrating their academic achievement, but every one of us who's celebrating being alive, and not only being alive, but healthy today, enjoying quality life. To this end, we can say, the Lord has been with us. The one higher than medical attention I have ever received, has been with us. The one better than my driving skills has been with us. The one having protection more than the car I drive or the journeys or the roads I travel on has been with us. And he recognizes that point and appreciates that to this end, the Lord God has been with us. And he could not look at that moment as a moment just to ignore, look, bypass, and continue with life. He marked that point. It is important also today to mark this day in our lives to say to this end, the Lord God Almighty has been with us. Bagaetsho re fa mo motsotsong o go leboga go baka go tlotla go galaletsa go ikokobeletsa modimo re mo leboga gore thuso tsa gago ga di balwe re fitlisitswe fa ke wena rara wa lerato re fa gore morena ha ke di gopola dithuso tse ke bolela puo e le nngwe gore o molemo o tlotlego o re tsamaitse sentle a robeng difatlhego modimo re a go leboga re ka neela mampako le tlotlo yotlhe ha ese wena re wa ka mangole re tsholetsa difatlhego le diatla tsa rona mo pele ga gago re go leboga gore o bo o re gogile go fitlha fa re amogela re sa amogere re lemoga re sa lemoge re itse re sa itse wena wa amega mo matshelong a rona wa re tlhokomela le foko la gago la rialo gore motho ene le mang gore bo ile wa mo tlhokomela wa mo tsatsia go le kana ebile wa mo lekola le mo mosong re a go leboga for all those rounds that you take through our bedrooms wherever we sleep wherever we spend our nights to make sure that all is well with us re rapelela tsamaiso le lenaneo la boitumelo la letsatsi le ka Kriste Jesu morekolodi wa rona amen.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Dumelang, sanibonani, goeiemorgen. It is with immense pride and heartfelt joy that I welcome you to the 2026 Autumn Graduation Ceremony of the Northwest University here at Mahikeng campus. Your presence here today transforms this gathering into something far greater than a ceremony. It becomes a celebration of dreams fulfilled, sacrifices rewarded, and futures awakened. Re itumeletse gore le tlile go keteka le rona gompieno. Today, ladies and gentlemen, beneath this roof of excellence and hope, we witness a remarkable milestone, the awarding of master's degrees, doctoral degrees, and the conferment of an honorary doctorate upon distinguished and deserving individuals whose lives and contribution inspire us all. My name is Dr. Joe Moleti. I'm the Deputy Vice Chancellor here at Northwest University, and I'm based here at Mahikeng campus. And it is my honor to host you all in our beautiful campus. Let me take this time to acknowledge and welcome the following dignitaries. I would like to welcome the Chancellor of the Northwest University, Dr. Anna Mahikeng, a professor of practice at the Northwest University Business School. Dr. Anna Mahikeng, Madam Chancellor, you are very welcome. I'd also like to welcome the Northwest University Vice Chancellor and Principal, Professor Bismarck Chobeka, Pastor and Council Member, Mr. Pete Lavanyana, who conducted the opening ceremony for us, and Pastor will also conclude the ceremony with a prayer for us. I welcome the Northwest University Senior Deputy Vice Chancellor, Prof. Linda Duplessis, Northwest University Deputy Vice Chancellor of Research and Innovation, Community Engagement, and Postgraduate Studies, Prof. Jeffrey Mpatlele. I welcome all council members present, including Mr. Tutu Khobani, who's also the President of Convocation. I welcome the Northwest University Registrar, who will present the master's and PhD degrees to the graduates. I welcome also the registrar's team, including Mr. Frank Nkwana, the Director of Northwest University, Sala. A most special welcome to our honorary doctorate, Ntate Henderson Kotlaitsile Pule, who will be conferred the honorary doctorate. I'd also like to welcome Ntate Pule's family present with us today. I welcome all University Management Committee members, all executive deans, deputy deans of faculties, school directors, deputy directors, promoters and supervisors, staff of the faculty. I acknowledge the president of the Student Campus Council and SRC, as well as council member, Ntate Relations Sobela, all the MCC members present here, we appreciate you. My beloved graduates and your guests, you are welcome. Our graduates are looking beautiful this morning. They are sparkling and radiant. May we all give them a round of applause and welcome them. To our graduates, we know that behind every dissertation submitted, every late night endured, every breakthrough discovered lies a story of courage, sacrifice, and unwavering determination. May this occasion inspire you to continue striving for excellence, serving with integrity, and using your knowledge to create meaningful impact. Congratulations on this well-deserved and extraordinary achievement. I welcome you all to the celebration of brilliance, perseverance, and new beginning. Thank you all.
Good morning, members of council, members of management, and the entire student community, including the students and all others, esteemed guests, graduates, and their families, the graduates' families, who have paid a heavy price for us to have this day today. Without them, we wouldn't be having any graduates. Ladies and gentlemen, today is a moment of significance. We gather not only to celebrate academic achievement, but to recognize the discipline, perseverance, and intellectual commitment that have brought you to this stage. Graduation ceremonies are often viewed as conclusions, but they are, in reality, beginnings. A degree is one of the foundations upon which future success is built. It provides structure, knowledge, and credibility. Yet a postgraduate qualification carries a deeper meaning. A master's degree is not simply another step forward. It is an elevator. A doctoral qualification takes you even higher. With each successive level of learning, you move deeper into your field of expertise, refining your thinking, strengthening your insight, and expanding your ability to contribute meaningfully and meaningfully. The world does not simply need qualified people. It needs thoughtful people. It needs ethical and authentic leadership. It needs researchers. It needs innovators and professionals who are prepared to confront complexity with courage and intelligence. It needs individuals who recognize that learning is not confined to a classroom, a laboratory, or a thesis. Due to current geopolitical complexities, our continent and country are in dire need of solutions, their own solutions, that can give rise to our self-reliance and sustainability as a continent. The continent is endowed with everything that we need. All we need is authentic, credible leadership, particularly that is technology-based, that informs our decisions. And here you are today. What you should ask yourself after today is that how are you going to utilize the knowledge that you have acquired in order to address Africa's and South Africa's challenges? Are you going to be relevant? Are you going to utilize this knowledge relevantly and appropriately? I encourage you today not to stop growing. Do not allow this graduation to become the final chapter of your intellectual journey. Continue to ask those difficult questions and find answers for them. Continue to challenge assumptions. Continue to seek knowledge, not only to advance your career, but to deepen your understanding of the world and your place and role within it. As you continue to grow, bring others with you. Mentor younger professionals. Support emerging scholars. Share your expertise generously. Leadership is not measured only by personal achievement, but by the ability to elevate others. May you continue to rise in your fields, remain grounded in purpose, and never underestimate the impact of what you know and what you choose to do with it. May your journey forward be marked by excellence, humility, and continued growth. Thank you. By the power vested in me, I hereby confer the following degrees on the candidates whose names appear in the program. Ka ntlha ya taolo e ke neetseng, ke abela baithuti ba maina bona a tlhagelang mo programming le di-diploma le di-doctorate tse di latelang.
A very good morning to you all. What a wonderful celebratory song from the police band. Can we give them a round of applause? I am Professor Dumi Moyo, the Executive Dean of the Faculty of Humanities, and I'm particularly excited this morning about the Honorary Award we are going to make this morning. Madam Chancellor, I have the honor of introducing to you Mr. Henderson Kgotlaetsile Pule. Madam Chancellor, I take the pleasure in reading out the brief curriculum vitae of Mr. Henderson Kgotlaetsile Pule. Mr. Henderson Kgotlaetsile Pule was born into a family of music, where song, harmony, and communal performance were part of everyday life. From a young age, he was immersed in a cultural environment where music functioned as memory, language, spirituality, and social cohesion. This early exposure planted the seeds of lifelong devotion to music and cultural preservation. In the 1960s, Mr. Pule enrolled at Bethel Teachers Training College, a formative period that sharpened both his pedagogical vision and his musical gifts. While still a student, he conducted a college choir, displaying leadership and musical maturity well beyond his years. During this period, he was also an active member of the Bethel Brass Band, where he developed a strong grounding in musical discipline, ensemble performance, and instrumental harmony. Although he acquired foundational music training, Mr. Pule is distinguished as a self-taught composer. Through carefully listening, disciplined practice, and deep cultural immersion, he mastered the art of composition independently. He drew inspiration from eminent composers of his time, including Mr. Mamabolo, whose work he regarded with admiration and whose example he reinforced, whose example reinforced his commitment to musical excellence rooted in African identity. Over the decades, Mr. Pule composed more than 20 original Setswana choral works, many of which have become enduring pillars of South Africa's choral repertoire. Among his most celebrated compositions are Pitsi Tatloho, Lerato la Motsadi, Manswi Asupa, Christi Utohile, and Vakamurena Moyawaka. I know many of you relate to these compositions. These works are widely performed by school choirs, church ensembles, community choirs, and national choral formations, including the National Choir Festival affiliated choirs, and continues to be broadcast and performed beyond South Africa's borders. His music is distinguished by its linguistic richness, cultural authenticity, and emotional depth. Through his compositions, Mr. Pule has preserved and elevated the Setswana language, embedding its idioms, values, and worldview within carefully structured choral forms. His works speak of faith, moral responsibility, parental love, perseverance, and communal identity, ensuring that music remains a living archive of collective memory. Alongside his musical achievements, Mr. Pule served with distinction as an educator and school principal, dedicating his professional life to the intellectual and moral development of young people during some of the most complex periods of South Africa's history. He retired as principal of Jangjo High School, respected not only for academic leadership, but for discipline, integrity, and humane guidance. For more than 60 uninterrupted years, Mr. Pule has served choral music as composer, conductor, adjudicator, and mentor. He has conducted school, church, and community choirs, most notably the Leurutse Community Choir, as chairperson of the Evangelical Lutheran Church of South Africa Musical Organization for 12 years. He introduced accompanied choral singing, expanding expressive possibilities within church music. For over 40 years, he has served as a respected choral adjudicator in South Africa and Botswana, shaping standards of excellence and mentoring generations of conductors. Now in his 8th decade, Mr. Henderson Kgotlaetsile Pule stands as a living custodian of cultural heritage, a bridge between generations and a testament to the power of self-directed learning, discipline, and service. His music continues to educate, to inspire, and unite long after the final chord has faded. Through the conferment of this honorary doctorate, the Northwest University recognizes a man whose life exemplifies the highest ideals of scholarship beyond the academy, knowledge in service of community, art in service of language, and leadership in service of humanity. Today, we celebrate not only a composer, but a cultural guardian whose songs will continue to teach, to heal, and endure. The Northwest University is greatly honored to hereby confer the degree Philosophy Doctor Honoris Causa in Music on Henderson Kgotlaetsile Pule in recognition of his attributes, notably his leadership role as an outstanding composer of African choral music, his groundbreaking work as cultural educationalist and music composer in Setswana, and his cultural revitalization of Setswana, which brought the phonetic and pedagogical advances associated with choral work. Madam Chancellor, I request that you cordially confer the degree Philosophy Doctor Honoris Causa in Music upon Mr. Henderson Kgotlaetsile Pule.
I hereby confer the degree Philosophia Doctor Honoris Causa in Music upon Mr. Henderson Kgotlaetsile Pule.
May I request the police band to give us a bit more?
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Herman van der Merwe. I'm the Deputy Dean responsible for teaching and learning in the Faculty of Economic and Management Sciences across the 3 campuses. And it's going to be my privilege this morning to introduce to you the candidates who will be receiving a degree. To the candidates, I just want to say to you that, you know, in the faculty, we are very pedantic about whether things are right or wrong. So what I would like you to do, especially the master's degrees, but the PhDs as well, if you receive your certificate, please make sure that everything is correct on the front. But then, I want you to turn that page over. On the back of that certificate is an expiry date. That expiry date means you need to come back to renew. We are here and we want to welcome you back. And I hope that the PhD students heard what Madam Chancellor said this morning. This is not the end. This is actually the beginning of your journey. And it sounded as if the two of us collaborated, because I also wanted to say to you that, remember, in the faculty we create innovators. And the degree that you're going to receive today is there to empower you, to empower others, and to create opportunities for other people. Congratulations to all of you. Madam Chancellor, I cordially request you to confer the following degrees upon the candidates whose names will be presented by me. Madam Chancellor, I cordially request you to confer the degree Master of Administration and Human Resource Management upon the following candidates. Riatlegile Matumela, who did her degree on exploring the role of employee value proposition in developing talented educators, the case of the Northwest Province. She did this study under the supervision of Dr. Pogojowa. Congratulations. Congratulations. Riabetswe Malobe Rakwale did her study under the supervision of Dr. Mosidinyane, and the title of her study was Investigating the Impact of Transformational Leadership on Employee Engagement and Psychological Capital in a Public Sector Organization. Congratulations. Under the supervision of Dr. Padi, Nozipo Sibia did her study with the title Exploring the Leadership Development Experience of Women Leaders at Selected South African Higher Education Institutions. Congratulations. Madam Chancellor, I cordially request you to confer the following degrees in the Master of Business Administration upon the following candidates. Ati Lawrence Jansen. Congratulations. Come on, go. Offense Gebine. Congratulations. Nomatamsankwa Mafungosi. Congratulations. Gertrude Dora Manyapelo. Congratulations. Tamsankwa Irvin Mazibuko. Congratulations. Aubakwe Precious Muhamisi. Congratulations. Madam Chancellor, I cordially request you to confer the degree Master of Commerce in Business Management upon Reinhold Frederik Ferris. He completed his study under the supervision of Professor Janssen van Rensburg and the co-supervision of Dr. Kezel Klink. The title of his study was An Operations Management Framework for Enhanced NSFAS Service Delivery Students' Impressions. Congratulations. Madam Chancellor, I cordially request you to confer the degree Master of Commerce in Economics upon the following candidates. Under the supervision of Prof. Ma and the co-supervision of Dr. Dinga, Aubakwe Lagatu Gaushibuilwe, she receives this degree with distinction and the And the title of her study was An Empirical Analysis of the Fiscal Deficit and Interest Rates in South Africa. Congratulations. Under the supervision of Professor Giselle Ma, Itumeleng Mukatle did his study. The title of his study was An Investigation of Foreign Direct Investment and Tax Revenue on Budget Deficit in South Africa. Congratulations. Under the supervision of Professor Ma, Motlabase Lydia Ramoshe did her study. She did her study, as I said, under the supervision of Professor Ma with the title Asymmetric Impact of Fiscal and Monetary Policy on Inflation in South Africa. Congratulations. Under the supervision of Professor Ma and the co-supervision of Dr. Mufema, Siyabonga Sigutra he did his study with the title An Empirical Analysis of Tax Revenue and Public Debt in South Africa, and he receives his degree with distinction. Congratulations. Thank you. Madam Chancellor, I cordially request you to confer the degree Master of Commerce in Informatics with Information Systems upon Ayanda. Yes, that's what I read. Master of Commerce in Information and Informatics. Sorry, it's a Master of Commerce in Statistics with Business Statistics. I do apologize. Sorry, it's my mistake. I do apologize. So it's the Master of Commerce in Statistics with Business Statistics, and she did it under the supervision of Professor Metzeleng and the co-supervision of Dr. Botloko. Amogelang Antoinette, Africa, and the title of her study was Hybridization of Gauge-type Model Using Deep Learning Techniques on the Performance of Exchange Rates Volatility. Congratulations. Under the supervision of Dr. Botloko, Kiketsu Ashley Babuile receives his Master of Commerce in Statistics with Business Statistics with the title of his dissertation, Performance Comparison of Adeline and ELM in Binary Classification Using Voting Ensemble Learning Techniques. Congratulations. Under the supervision of Professor Monchiwa, Riatlegile Aubakwe Koroho receives her degree with distinction. The title of her study was The Impact of the Severity of Imbalanced Groups on Data Augmentation and Machine Learning Classifiers. Congratulations. Under the supervision of Professor Monchiwa, Teboho Mahabane receives the degree with the title of her study, The Impact of Outliers and Outlier Treatment Methods on the Performance of Machine Learning Classifiers. Congratulations. Under the supervision of Professor Monchiwa, Karabu, Charlene Masinyane Matonsi did her study with the title Feature Selection Enhanced Hybrid Versions of the CART Light GBM and CAT Boost used in customer classification. Under the supervision of Dr. Botloko and the co-supervision of Professor Metzeleng, Rachel Refilwe Motlahehi receives her degree with the title of her study, Multimodal Hybridization of Classical Statistical Deep Learning and Machine Learning Modules using Bitcoin Closing Prices. Congratulations. Under the supervision of Professor Tsoko, Boitumelo Perseverance Muketsi receives the degree with the study of her title, the title of her study, Predictive Accuracy of Statistical Machine Learning and Their Hybrid Models on Perceived Feelings of Safety in South Africa. Congratulations. Under the supervision of Professor Tsoko and the co-supervision of Mr. Shohole, Umpile Kialeboga Murare receives her degree with the title of her study, Enhancing Foreign Exchange Forecasting, a comparison of time series and machine learning models. Congratulations.
Good morning. I'm Lloyd Conley. I'm the Executive Dean of Faculty of Education. May I invite you to please follow in the program, as I will only be reading the names of the recipients. Madam Chancellor, it is my honor to introduce to you the following candidates present who have obtained the following degrees. Madam Chancellor, the degree Master of Education in Educational Management and Leadership, we have Nunu Catherine Mukwera, who obtains the degree with distinction. Thank you. Naledi Regina Molefe. Thank you. Pamelo Tertia Sabaeng. Madam Chancellor, the Master of Education in Special Needs Education, and we have Zwelinzile Julius Mvalani. Thank you, Chancellor.
My name is Efe Usir, representing the Executive Dean of the Faculty of Health Sciences, Professor Avi Kutse. Madam Chancellor, it's my honor to introduce to you the candidates present who have obtained the following degrees. Motsape Lebohan Gladys, Master of Arts in Clinical Psychology. Congratulations. George Shawen Justin, Master of Health Sciences in Clinical Psychology. Congratulations. Ango Vukile Arnold, Master of Health Sciences in Clinical Psychology, and he passed with distinction. Nicolau Michaela Diane, Master of Health Sciences in Clinical Psychology, and passed with distinction. Madam Chancellor, it's my honor Madam Chancellor, it's my honor to introduce to you the following candidates present who had obtained the following degrees: a Master of Nursing Science, Mampa Letabo Popi. Congratulations. Okay. Siole Dinel Olefile, Master of Nursing Science, passed with distinction. Congratulations. Congratulations. Mocha P. Kelefilwe, Master of Nursing Science with Community Nursing Science. Congratulations. Madam Chancellor, it's my honor to introduce to you the following candidates present who have obtained their following degrees in Master of Social Work, Yankee Intabinseng Janet. Congratulations. Masondo Catherine Nyoyane, Master of Social Work. Congratulations. Finish. Thank you.
Good morning once again. Madam Chancellor, it is my honor to introduce to you the following candidates present who have obtained the following degrees from the Faculty of Humanities. Starting with the Master of Arts in Communication, Moki Retumetse Gley Rose. Ndlovu Stanley Nzalama. Thank you. Thank you, thank you. And now for the Master of Arts in Political Studies, Mokatla Ntabiseng Princess. Apologies. She graduates with distinction. Muranda, thank you. Thank you. Let's hear the other names. Muranda Panache. Now, for the Master of Social Science in Development Studies, Nkuyahaye Mosimane Gabe Charles. For the Master of Social Sciences in International Relations, Chipape Ronnie Kenny, and he passes with distinction. The following candidates graduate with Master of Social Sciences in Population Studies and Sustainable Development. Lehlonyane Stimery. This is for the Master of Social Sciences in Sociology, Mafisa Providence Karabo. Mgwadlela Palesa Beverly. Thank you, Madam Chancellor.
My name is Kathleen van der Linde, and I'm the Executive Dean of the Faculty of Law. Madam Chancellor, for the Master of Laws in Labour Law, I'm honored to present to you the following candidates present who have complied with the requirements of the following degrees. Master of Laws in Labour Law, Leuko Gotle. Thank you. For the Master of Laws with Mercantile Law, Anita Harding. Lekgeto Lesego. Master of Laws with Private Law, Kuzwayo Mbalensle. Sorry. Master of Laws with Public Law and Legal Philosophy, Gaserotse Elizabeth Tatane.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Tebe Midupe, Deputy Dean in the Faculty of Natural and Agricultural Sciences. I'm here on behalf of the Executive Dean, Professor Francois van der Heijzen. Madam Chancellor, it is my honor to introduce to you the following candidates present who have obtained the following degrees. For Master of Indigenous Knowledge System, Maepa Ntabiseng Matari. The study title is Utilizing Liquefied Decomposed Cow Dung. Exploring. Oh. This one. Exploring indigenous foods used for food security by the Moshana community in the Northwest Province, South Africa. The supervisor is Dr. Muedi, co-supervisor Dr. Buda. Polokeng Tswelelo Pele, pass with distinction. And the study title is an ethno-veterinary study of plants used for livestock management among Botswana communities in the Northwest Province. The study leader is Professor Aremu. The co-supervisor is Dr. Masondo and Dr. Asong. Nko Keamogela Innocentia, also passed with distinction. And the study title is Ethnobotanical Study and Nutritional Profiling of Wild Edible Plants among Botswana in 2 district municipalities in the Northwest Province, South Africa. The study leader is Professor Aremu. The co-supervisors are Professor Amo and Dr. Asong. Rasi Hlomi Mujaji Mendi. The study title is Exploring the Role of Indigenous Foods in Dietary Diversity within the Mahikeng local municipality. The study leader is Dr. Sidupane, and the co-supervisor is Professor Aremu. Risimati Vanessa. The study title is Exploring the Contribution of Indigenous Crops in Local Economy of Mhinga Traditional Authority in Limpopo Province. The study leader is Dr. Molepo. The co-supervisor is Mr. Maditi. Emise Tato Hazel. The study title is Exploring the Indigenous Agricultural Practices Used to Enhance Food Security among the Botswana of Muruleng, Northwest Province. The study leader is Dr. Muedi, co-supervisor Mr. Maditsi. Tiro Tsaone Poshia. The study title is Exploring the Influence of Indigenous Practice on Cannabis Cultivation among Amampondo community of Flagstaff in the Eastern Cape. The supervisor is Dr. Molepo. The co-supervisor is Dr. Kunene. For the Master of Science in Agricultural Economics, Mohashwa Koketso Ela. The study title is Adoption of Honeyseed Energy Supply, Practices for Improved Production Efficiency of Smallholder Poultry Farmer in Tshwane District, Gauteng Province. The supervisor is Dr. Malahlela. Sihlola Betty. The study title is Contribution of Agro-Processing on Farm Turnover of Smallholder Crop Farmers in Limpopo Province. The study leader is Dr. Malahlela and passed with distinction. For Master of Science in Animal Science, Sindaku Lihle. The study title is Broiler Chicken Responses to Incremental Levels of Dietary Nucleotides under High Stocking Density. The main supervisor is Professor Mnisi. The co-supervisors are Dr. Munsami, Professor Mlambo, and Professor Fayemi. For the Master of Science in Applied Radiation Science, Shai Masodi Cohen. The study title is Determination and Assessment of Radiological Health Risks of Radon 222 in water from Hartebeespoort Dam. The study leader is Professor Matutu. The co-supervisor is Dr. Ohana. For the Master of Science in Botany, Ndungwane Pamela. The study title is Investigating the Potential Mitigatory Role of Zinc Oxide Nanoparticles on Sorghum Plants Growing Under Salt Stress. The main supervisor is Professor Rosvizo. The co-supervisors are Professor Katata Seru and Professor Dikobe. Pass with distinction. For the Master of Science in Chemistry, Kutshwane Letlogonolo Vanessa. The study title is Phytochemical Analysis and Modeling Studies of 5 Local Medicinal Herbs. The study leader is Professor Zondi. The co-supervisor is Dr. Rasalana Vo and Dr. Sosibo. Pass with distinction. Letsulo Petu Brain. The study title is Impedometric Sensor for Concentration of Heavy Metals Determination in Water Using Ion 3, Oxygen 4, SPEC Nanocomposite. The supervisor is Professor Fayemi. Maepe Buinelo Charity. The study title is Computational Drug Discovery Studies of Protein Ligand Interaction. The supervisor is Dr. Sosibo. The co-supervisor is Professor Zondi. Pass with distinction. Malebadi Kiutsepile Amanda. The study title is coal fly ash-based ceramic membrane functionalized with AG-doped zinc oxide for dye removal from wastewater. The study leader is Professor Onodue. The co-supervisor is Dr. Seheri. Pass with distinction. For the Master of Science in Computer Science, Mamiza Fulufelo Hopewell. The study title is Task Dependency Away Efficient Resource Allocation Management in IoT-based edge computing environments. The study leader is Professor Isong. The co-supervisor is Professor Abu Mahfouz. Pass with distinction. Mohale Gwendolyn Mushishi. The study title is Assessment of ICT Projects Sustainability Using Business Intelligence Approach. Supervisor is Professor Isefariene. Pass with distinction. Piri Reatlegile. The study title is Meteorological Drought Forecast Using Deep Learning and Ensemble Models in the Northwest Province. The supervisor is Professor Esie Farendre. The co-supervisor is Professor Obagbua. For the Master of Science in Crop Science, Motaung Rifilwe Selina. The study title is Comparative Insights into Rhizosphere, Microbial Activity of Exotic Pigeon pea lines at different sites. The main supervisor is Professor Mavengahama, and the co-supervisor is Dr. Bello. For the Master of Science in Mathematics, Malapani Tabang. The study topic is point-free version of Bloomberg spaces and associated rings. The supervisor is Dr. Nsai, and pass with distinction. For the Master of Science in Microbiology, Mubanga Munono. The study title is Characterization of Culture-Dependent Microorganism from Platinum Mine Tailings. The main supervisor is Professor Babalola. The co-supervisor is Dr. Kawaza. Pass with distinction.
Madam Chancellor, I have the honor of introducing you to Farikai. Sorry, I do apologize. Farikai is not here. I have the honor to introduce to you Lawrence Kwagile Musala, who will receive the Doctor of Philosophy in Computer and Information Sciences with Information Systems. I am going to request the promoter to please read a summary of the appreciation. In the absence of the promoter is Professor Mochukola Pane, and Professor Keiser will read the appreciation.
Musala Lawrence Kwagile was born in Mahikeng. He is the son of Leboheng and Mpane Musala and a brother of 3 siblings. He completed his secondary education at Botswana Commercial School in 2006 and enrolled in the Northwest University, where he obtained his undergraduate degree in information systems. He continues his postgraduate study at the same institution and successfully completed both an honors and master's degree in information systems. In 2014, he was appointed as a temporary lecturer at the Northwest University and has been employed as a lecturer at the Northwest University since February 2019. In this role, he cultivated a sustainable interest in teaching at a higher education institution, scholarly research, and the academic development of students in the information system discipline. His academic career has been shaped by a research interest in the transitions and graduates from higher education in the labor market, with a particular focus on the structural and contextual challenges that influence this process. In his thesis, tried models for predicting information system graduates' employability, the study investigates persistent challenges associated with graduate employability within the information system discipline. Adopting perspectives of higher education institutions, graduates, and employers, he developed an empirical validated triadic model for the assessing of graduate employability. A quantitative research design and advanced structural techniques, including exploratory factor analysis, confirmative factor analysis, and structural equation modeling, were applied to identify key determinants of graduate employability. The study also highlighted notable perceptual differences between stakeholders regarding skills gap, curricular responsiveness, and the associated socioeconomic impact. The findings reveal substantial discrepancies in views of graduate preparedness and labor market expectations. The study offers a robust analytical framework to inform institutions of higher education and employers in enhancing curricular responsiveness, subsequently improving the employability of information system graduates.
Madam Chancellor, I cordially request you to confer the degree Doctor of Philosophy upon Lawrence Kwagile Musala. Congratulations. Madam Chancellor, I have the honor of introducing you to Stanley Ace Ngobeni, upon whom the degree Philosophy Doctor is conferred. I request the promoter, Professor Pelser, to read to you a summary of the appreciation of the candidate's thesis.
In his thesis, Developing and Implementing an Insourcing Talent Framework for Selected Departments in Gauteng, South Africa, Stanley Ngobeni conducted a qualitative study to develop an insourcing talent framework for selected departments in Gauteng, South Africa, addressing the lack of structured guidance for transitioning from outsourcing to insourcing in the public sector, using semi-structured interviews and thematic analysis grounded in transaction cost, resource-based and core competence theories. The study identified key challenges such as insufficient financial and human resources, lack of structured implementation plans, weak oversight, and talent management gaps. The proposed framework outlines phased implementation processes and stakeholder roles to enhance service delivery, reduce outsourcing costs, strengthen internal talent retention, and improve institutional capacity and accountability within the provincial government. Thank you. Congratulations.
Madam Chancellor, I cordially request you to confer the degree Doctor of Philosophy upon Stanley Ace Ngobeni. Congratulations. Madam Chancellor, I have the honor of introducing you to Malose Patrick Shogole, upon whom the degree Philosophy Doctor is conferred. I request the promoter, Professor Tsoko, to read to you a summary of the appreciation of the candidate's thesis.
Madam Chancellor, in his thesis, the enhanced time series modeling using machine learning algorithm in South African stock prices. Leto investigated whether the integration of machine learning could enhance our traditional statistical models. The models that he tried to enhance is your ARIMA models, your T-gauge, and your exponential gauge. And the enhancers that were used in the study is your GRNN, your GBM, as well as your NFIS. Amongst the standalone models, we could see that the ARIMA models could not perform as expected. However, integrating the machine learning, particularly the GBM, we could see that ARIMA model performed very well in predicting and forecasting the stock prices. Therefore, this study contributed to the robust framework of statistical model enhanced by the machine learning in predicting the stock prices. Thank you very much.
The co-promoters of the study were Professor Mitzeleng and Dr. Botloko. Madam Chancellor, I cordially request you to confer the degree Doctor of Philosophy upon Molose Patrick Shogole.
Yes.
Congratulations. Madam Chancellor, I have the honor of introducing to you Gebetsimang Anna Sere, upon whom the degree Philosophy Doctor is conferred. The promoter is the late Professor Daw, and I'm going to request Professor Blau to read to you a summary of the appreciation of the candidate's thesis.
Madam Chancellor, in her thesis, The Impact of Job Search Obstacles on Youth Employment Status, the case of Mahikeng local municipality, South Africa, she aimed to develop a conceptual model to identify the demographic factors and job search obstacles that potentially influence the employment status of young people in Mahikeng local municipality. A quantitative cross-sectional design utilizing Likert scale measures and binary logistic regression analysis was employed in the analysis of survey data. Demographic factors such as age and location of residents significantly influence employment outcomes. People aged 20 to 25 years and those in urban areas exhibited a higher likelihood of being employed. Specific job search obstacles, for example, access to data, financial constraints, and perceived educational requirements for available jobs negatively affect employment outcomes. Congratulations, Gebetsimang.
Madam Chancellor, I cordially request you to confer the degree Doctor of Philosophy upon Gebetsimang Anna Sere. Proud of you. Madam Chancellor, I have the honor of introducing to you Sindiswa Victoria Ndindlela Majola. Upon whom the degree Philosophy Doctor is conferred. I request the promoter, Dr. Leseneo, to read to you a summary of the appreciation of the candidate's thesis.
Mdindela Majova, Sindiswa Victoria. She's the daughter of Ubaba Mnininzi Douglas and Umama Nomahomba Patricia Mdendela. She was born on the 14th August 1974 in Ngeleni in the Eastern Cape. She matriculated from Ngeleni High School in 1994 and enrolled for a national diploma in human resource management at Walter Sisulu University in 1995. She later obtained a BTech in human resource management from the Cape Peninsula University in 1999, followed by a postgraduate diploma in labor law with distinction and a master's degree by research in human resource management from Nelson Mandela University in 2009 and 2010, respectively. Sindiswa joined Walter Sisulu University as a lecturer in 2000, and she served as head of Department of Human Resource Management since January 2021. With over 2 decades of academic experience, she has contributed to HRM scholarship through peer-reviewed publications, conference presentations, as well as book chapters. She is a chartered HR professional, registered with the South African Board for People Practices, SABPP, serves on its Higher Education Committee, and chairs the Eastern Cape chapter in East London. In 2024, SABPP honored her for her outstanding contribution to the human resource profession. In her thesis, Performance Management System, its impact on employee and organizational change in a South African higher education institution, Sindiswa has made a significant scholarly contribution to advancing performance management research in South African higher education. Her study develops a contextually grounded framework that strengthens accountability, promotes professional growth, and enhancing institutional responsiveness post-COVID-19. Importantly, the study identified critical gaps between the conceptual understanding and the practical implementation of performance management system in higher education institutions. The findings further demonstrate that clearly articulated objective, transparent processes, and participatory leadership can reposition performance management as a strategic driver for organizational transformation. The study further makes a meaningful contribution to HRM scholarship while advancing more effective, responsive, and sustainable organizational development within higher education institutions.
Madam Chancellor, I cordially request you to confer the degree Doctor of Philosophy upon Sindiswa Victoria Mdindela Majola. Madam Chancellor, I have the honor of introducing to you Farikai Hilda Mapanga, upon whom the degree Philosophy Doctor is conferred. In the absence of the promoter, Professor Janssen van Rensburg, I'll read to you a summary of the appreciation of the candidate's thesis. In her thesis, analyzing social media brand communication's influence on consumer-based brand equity in the FMCG industry, she created a comprehensive framework. She investigated a deeper understanding of how social media brand communication guides FMCG beverage brands in strategic decision-making processes. The influence of business-created social media content and user-generated social media content was investigated, and the study clearly showed the importance of user-generated social media content on brand equity, and must therefore be supported by the business-created social media content. A model advances our theoretical and practical understanding of the influence that social media brand communication has on brand equity. This model offers actionable insights for managers to enhance consumer engagement and brand performance and must be implemented by businesses. Madam Chancellor, I cordially request you to confer the degree Doctor of Philosophy upon Farikai Hilda Mapanga. Madam Chancellor, I have the honor of introducing you to Fatsimo Innocentian Metsi, upon whom the degree Doctor of Philosophy is conferred. I request the promoter, Professor Manwa, to read to you a summary of the appreciation of the candidate's thesis.
Thank you. Madam Chair, thank you. Her thesis was a critical assessment of the management of government-funded festivals, community participation strategies. The thesis is grounded in the stakeholder theory, and impact assessment was done. A mixed approach was also carried. A study analyzed community participation in government-funded festivals. Findings indicate that participation is often limited and tokenism, with minimum influence on decision-making processes. Therefore, existing participation strategies are largely ineffective, yielding short-term economic benefits that do not support existing development. The study calls for a paradigm that shifts festival governance, advocating greater transparency, inclusive participation mechanism, and evaluative distribution of benefits. Overall, the study contributes to the sustainable tourism discourse, highlighting many long-term success of such festivals, depending on community engagement and meaningful development outcomes.
The co-promoter is Professor Tsiane Gumbe. Madam Chancellor, I cordially request you to confer the degree Doctor of Philosophy upon Fatsimo Innocentian Metsi. Congratulations. Very proud of you, right? Thank you very much. Madam Chancellor, thank you very much. That concludes the contribution of the Faculty of Economic and Management Sciences. And from my side, congratulations to all the supervisors, the co-supervisors, the promoters and co-promoters. Thank you very much for all your hard work. Thank you.
Madam Chancellor, I have the honor of introducing Caroline Tsepile Ralele, upon whom the degree Philosopher Doctor in Education with Special Needs Education is conferred. I request the promoter, Dr. Payne van Staden, to read the appreciation of the candidate's thesis.
Congratulations, Tepi. In her thesis entitled Enabling Psychological Resilience in Learning Support Teachers Post-Pandemic, she investigated the factors that promote psychological resilience among learning support teachers in the aftermath of the COVID-19 pandemic. By using qualitative methods, she explored teachers' experiences, the psychological challenges they faced, strengthened resilience, and the impact of the disrupted teaching conditions on their well-being and self-efficacy. The study highlights how strengthened resilience can enhance teachers' psychological well-being and professional functioning during and after a crisis. It further proposes guidelines that supports the resilience of learning support teachers, ensuring continuity and quality of teaching and learning in future periods of disruption. Congratulations.
The co-promoter is Dr. P. Chama. I do present to you Caroline Tsepile Ralele, Madam Chancellor. Thank you, Madam Chancellor.
Okay. All right. Madam Chancellor, I have the honor to introduce to you Sir Timber Frederick, upon whom the degree Philosopher Doctor is to be conferred. I request the promoter, Professor Siwularo, to please come forward to read the summary of appreciation of the candidate's thesis.
In his thesis,
guidelines for the nursing care of patients diagnosed with dual diagnosis in psychiatric hospitals of Ghana. Frederick adopted exploratory descriptive qualitative research design to develop and validate the guidelines which were validated using the Idelphi technique. The study revealed the fundamental role of nurses in health promotion and recovery support for patients diagnosed with dual diagnosis. Nevertheless, critical barriers to effective care were identified, including inadequate infrastructure, shortage of resources, absence of standard operating procedures, and limited patients' involvement in care planning. From his thesis, Frederick has published 4 articles in international journals, 3 in BMC Nursing, and the other one was published last week in the Open Public Health Journal. The newly developed guidelines are anticipated to enhance care consistency, reduce burden, and promote equitable, effective, and sustainable mental health services for psychiatric patients with dual diagnosis in psychiatric hospitals of Ghana. Congratulations.
Congratulations, Satimbe Frederick. Congratulations. You can go. Supervisor. Okay. Madam Chancellor, I have the honor of introducing to you Oladipo Olabisi, upon whom the degree Philosophy Doctor in Social Work is to be conferred. I request the promoter, Professor M. Dube, to please come forward to read the summary of appreciation of the candidate's thesis.
In her thesis, Social Support Guidelines to Enhance Medication Adherence Among Patients with Mental Disorders, Lagos State, Nigeria, Olabis developed practical guidelines to support for medical social workers and informal caregivers to improve medical adherence and strengthen social support systems. A qualitative research design was employed involving 48 purposely selected participants across 2 centers, including patients, informal caregivers, and medical social workers. Data were collected through in-depth and key informative interviews, followed by a collaborative phase in which representatives from all participants groups contributed towards development of the guidelines. The study highlighted that social workers are integral members of mental health system, and their interventions can help strengthen social support and improve medication adherence. The developed guidelines provide important framework to guide social work practice and enhance mental health outcomes among patients with mental disorders in Lagos State.
Congratulations. You may proceed. Thank you.
Madam Chancellor, I have the honor of introducing to you, thank you. I have the honor of introducing to you Malindi Mhlupeki Elias, upon whom the degree philosophy doctor in communication sciences is conferred. In the absence of the supervisor, I take the pleasure of reading out the appreciation of his thesis. So in his thesis, developing a communication framework for exchanging pandemic information in rural areas of Ngaka Modiri Molema district in South Africa, Elias addresses the challenges of health information exchange in underserved communities during public health crisis. Employing a qualitative methodology, the study draws on the perspectives of stakeholders, including traditional leaders, educational institutions, and government departments. The findings reveal that existing communication approaches are often fragmented and insufficiently aligned with local contexts. The study proposes a contextually grounded framework that integrates community-based structures with culturally appropriate communication strategies. This framework seeks to enhance coordination, improve access to information, and strengthen community responsiveness responsiveness and resilience in times of pandemics. Madam Chancellor, I present to you Malindi Mhlupeki Elias. Congratulations. Thank you. Madam Chancellor, I have the honor of introducing to you Malachi Mashapa Marinki, upon whom the degree philosophy doctor in social sciences with population studies is conferred. And I now request the promoter, Dr. Tsawe, to read to you a summary of the appreciation of the candidate's thesis.
In her thesis, which is titled Examining the Trends and Factors Influencing Short Birth Spacing Among Women of Reproductive Age in Ethiopia, Maringe used the demographic and health survey data from 2000 to 2016 to examine birth spacing trends and their determinants. She used multi-level multinomial modeling to account for the hierarchical nature of the data and also used Cox proportional hazards model to model the time between consecutive births. The findings revealed that short birth spacing remains prevalent in the country at around 40%, showing only a modest decline of 2.2 percentage points over this period. Individual and cluster level factors were significantly associated with spacing. The average interval in terms of the time between births was 50 months, with considerable variations across individual characteristics. The key determinants included age, education, contraceptive use, antenatal care attendance, household wealth, and residence. Congratulations.
The main promoter was Dr. Kay Mhele, and co-promoter Dr. M. Tsawe. Madam Chancellor, I present to you Malachi Mashapa Marinki. Thank you, Madam Chancellor.
Madam Chancellor, I have the honor of introducing to you Kwambwa Esther Lombe Chitozi, upon whom the degree Philosopher Doctor is conferred. I request the promoter, Professor Letwalo, to read you a summary of the appreciation of the candidate's thesis.
Madam Chancellor, in her thesis, the analysis of Moringa oleifera value chain in selected SADC countries, Botswana, Malawi, Namibia, South Africa, Tanzania, Zambia, and Zimbabwe. She employed both qualitative and quantitative research methods, and she gathered data through unstructured questionnaire, checklist with focus groups, and observation on activities of Moringa producers, processors, and retailers. Findings show that despite global recognition of Moringa as nutrient-rich superfood, it remains underutilized in the region. Key barriers include the processing technologies, weak market coordination, and absence of harmonious quality standards. This study recommends policy support for small and medium scale of Moringa oleifera enterprise via targeted agribusiness support. It further proposed development of regional quality, safety standards, facilitation of cross-border trade, and integration of Moringa into national food security strategy. Congratulations.
Thank you. Madam Vice Chancellor, I have the honor of introducing to you Legbele Femi Obidun, upon whom the degree Philosopher Doctor is conferred. I request Professor Michael to read to you a summary of appreciation of the candidate's thesis.
Vice Chancellor, on behalf of Professor Eso, I'm going to read his abstracts or a summary of his dissertation, his thesis. In his thesis, adaptive game-based learning framework for enhancing students' motivation in teaching computer programming courses. Femi focused on designing, developing, and evaluating an adaptive game-based learning system for computer programming students using a design science research approach. He examined and adaptive algorithms, including reinforced learning and Bayesian network. He then built a hybrid reinforced learning and Bayesian network model combining probabilistic reasoning and reward-based decision-making implemented in Unity, a game-based environment. The system used game mechanics and a point badge and progress tracking. A mixed method evaluation which invested students showed gain in engagement, adaptivity, and learning outcomes. Grounded in constructivism learning theory and self-determination theory, the hybrid model delivered more accurate, personalized in programming education and supported learning across computing and non-computing disciplines. Thank you.
Madam Chancellor, I have the honor of introducing to you Lepoko Mduduzi Yolani Thabo, upon whom the degree Philosopher Doctor is conferred. I take pleasure in reading out the appreciation of the candidate's thesis. In his thesis, titled Applications of Symmetry Methods to Various Multidimensional Nonlinear Partial Differential Equations, Thabo investigated several higher-order nonlinear models that are fundamental to modern physics and engineering. By employing Lie group analysis, he successfully transformed complex partial differential equations into manageable forms, allowing for derivation of a diverse range of new analytical solutions. These findings offer fresh insights into the phenomena such as communication signals in semiconductors, internal gravity waves in stratified fluids, and acoustic wave propagation. Furthermore, Thabo established essential conservation laws for these systems using both the multiplier method and Ibragimov theorem. His work contributes original analytical solutions to the literature, bridging the gap between abstract mathematical theory and real-world physical application. Madam Chancellor, I present to you Lepoko Mduduzi Yolani Thabo. Madam Chancellor, I have the honor of introducing to you Mabucha Molohadi Bennett, upon whom the degree Philosopher Doctor is conferred. I take pleasure in reading out the appreciation of the candidate's thesis. In his thesis, In Vitro Propagation and Essential Oil Properties of Regenerated Melissa officinalis and Thermus vulgaris, Bennett developed efficient micropropagation protocols applicable for large-scale propagation of two economically important species, thyme and lemon balm. His optimized cost-effective protocol for lemon balm can result in the production of more than 350,000 in vitro shoots per single node in just 6 months. He also assessed the therapeutic potential of the regenerated plants through phytochemical and pharmacological analysis. His findings indicated strong antioxidant, antibacterial and antifungal activities of the regenerants. His study established the potential of these in vitro propagated species for medicinal, nutraceutical, and cosmetic applications. His study resulted in 2 research articles published in high-impact factor journals, with 3 more in the pipeline. Madam Chancellor, I present to you Mabocha Molokadi Bernard. Madam Chancellor, I have the honor of introducing to you Manyoba Notkolo, upon whom the degree Philosopher Doctor is conferred. I take pleasure in reading out the appreciation of the candidate's thesis. In her thesis, Assessment of Norm and Heavy Metals in Soil, Groundwater and Surface Water, case study of Evander Gold Mine tailings. Notkolo utilized high-purity germanium gamma spectrometry and inductively coupled plasma mass spectrometry to analyze environmental samples collected from both control site and gold mining area. The results show that norm concentrations in soil decreased with distance from the mining area, while levels in surface water and groundwater fluctuated significantly between upstream and downstream locations, indicating additional upstream sources of contamination. In contrast, heavy metal concentration in soil increased further away from the mining site. Overall, the findings highlight that gold mining poses significant health risk to surrounding communities, particularly due to norm exposure. Madam Chancellor, I present to you Manyoba Notkolo. Thank you.
Tina imisa.
Madam Chancellor, allow me to ride on the already established protocol and observe it. Evelyn Weber, a writer, entrepreneur, and a World at School ambassador from the Philippines, once eloquently stated, "There is no better investment a nation can make than education. It is an investment in economic development, an investment in opportunity, and an investment in our shared future." Close quotes. Congratulations, our dear graduates. This achievement belongs to you, to your families, your lecturers, your supervisors, and every person who stood with you throughout this journey. Many of you have overcome financial pressures, personal difficulties, self-doubt, and exhaustion to reach this moment. You should be very proud of yourselves. The Northwest University is very proud of you. As Principal and Vice Chancellor of this institution, this ceremony is also deeply personal to me because I once sat where many of you are seated today. I graduated in this very venue, the Great Hall, here at our Mahikeng campus many years ago. Like many of you, I carried dreams, uncertainty, ambition, and hope for the future. Standing here today is therefore a reminder that education has the power to transform lives, families, and communities. We confer qualifications today at a time when South Africa and the African continent require capable, ethical, and skilled graduates more than ever before. Our country continues to face serious challenges: unemployment, poverty, inequality, food insecurity, pressure on the healthcare systems, governance failures, and rapid technological change. Higher education, therefore, carries a national responsibility. Research continues to show that postgraduate education contributes directly to economic growth, innovation, research productivity, and institutional development. According to our Department of Higher Education and Training, less than 7% of South Africans between ages 25 and 64 hold postgraduate qualifications. Further studies continue to demonstrate that countries with strong postgraduate and doctoral output are better positioned to drive innovation, economic competitiveness, scientific advancement, and institutional development. South Africa currently produces approximately 3,500 doctoral graduates annually, which remains far below the levels required for a developing economy of our size and our ambition. This means that those graduating today, particularly at master's and doctoral level, form part of a critical national asset. Madam Chancellor, this is why universities matter. Institutions such as the Northwest University remain central to building the intellectual, scientific, professional, and leadership capacity of our nation. Through teaching and learning, research and innovation, in entrepreneurship and community engagement, we continue to contribute towards societal advancement and human development. It is for this reason that the university continues to expand its strategic academic footprint in response to national and societal needs. The Northwest University Desmond Tutu School of Medicine continues to make steady progress as part of our contribution towards strengthening healthcare training and public health capacity in South Africa. Equally, the university continues to advance the establishment of the School of Mines and Mining Engineering. Just 2 days ago, my leadership team engaged the Rustenburg local municipality to accelerate this important initiative. This development seeks to position the university within one of the most strategic sectors of the South African economy, whilst at the same time contributing towards skills development, research, innovation, and industrial advancements within the mining and energy sectors. We are equally advancing plans towards the establishment of a School of Veterinary Sciences, which will be centered here in Mahikeng. This initiative will further strengthen the university's contribution towards animal health, agricultural sustainability, biosecurity, and rural development. In addition, the Agri-Hub at the Mahikeng campus is already on course. This is an initiative that is steadily positioning Mahikeng as an important center for agricultural innovation, food security, research, farmer support, agro-processing, and experiential learning. Through this work, the university continues to respond directly to realities facing our communities, the province, the country, and indeed the continent. To our graduates from the faculties of Economic and Management Sciences, Education, Natural and Agricultural Sciences, Humanities, Health Sciences, Law, Theology, and those from the business schools, your disciplines matter. Economies require sound management and entrepreneurship. Communities require educators and social scientists. Nations require scientists, healthcare professionals, legal minds, theologians, researchers, innovators, and ethical leaders. Your qualification is therefore not simply a certificate, it is a responsibility. Use your knowledge with integrity, use your education to build institutions, strengthen communities, create opportunities, and restore dignity where it has been lost. Lead with humility, serve with excellence, conduct yourselves with civility and professionalism in all spaces you enter. We also gather today to honor a distinguished son of the soil, Mr. Henderson Kotlaitzile Pule, upon whom the university conferred the degree Philosophiae Doctor Honoris Causa in music. Rep Pule has made an extraordinary contribution to South African choral music and cultural heritage. Through his work, he has served African identity, inspired generations, and strengthened social cohesion through music and artistic expression. His life reminds us that leadership and scholarships can also be expressed through culture, creativity, and service to humanity. Repule, we honor you and we thank you for your contribution to society. To the parents, guardians, spouses, children, families, academic and support structures present here, thank you for carrying these graduates through this journey. The African proverb remains true. It takes a village to raise a child. Your sacrifices, prayers, encouragement, and support made this achievement possible. Graduates, as you leave this ceremony, remember that the world does not only need qualified people, it needs principled people. It needs people who can think critically, act ethically, solve problems, and work for the greater good of society. Carry the name of our university, the Northwest University, with pride and dignity. Go and make us proud. Go well. Apulaine, re a leboga.
Tsohle 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 di entswe ke wena Modimo re boka wen tsohle 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 di entswe ke wen Modimo re boka wena Modimo re boka wena re boka wena Modimo re a go leboga re gogile go fitlha fa o mothusi wa rona o tsamaile le rona mo loetong lotlhe segolobogolo mo thulaganyong ya matsetseleko le manontlhotlho ya letsatsi la gompieno re busetsa tsotlhe ditebogo le dipako go wena jaanong le ka metlha amen.
By the power vested in me, I dissolve this congregation of the Northwest University. Ka ntlha ya taolo e ke neetsweng ke phatlalatsa phuthego e ya University ya Bokone Bophirima.